Welcome back to the Faculty Video Training course. In this video, we're going to give the highlights over the gradebook, a gradebook overview. All right, we're in the course, and you're interested in looking at your gradebook a little closer. From the front page, you come over to the pinwheel on the top right, the admin. Click on that, and down a little bit, there's a gradebook setup. That is the gateway into your gradebook. So click Gradebook Setup. It'll chug. It does open up. In the newest version of Moodle, it will open up in the setup window. There's setup tabs. We have the tabs across here at the top. The setup has 3 tabs underneath it. So we have setup. If you click view, the tab view, it comes open and you can view either in a user report. Looks like this one opened up in the user report, which you can choose each individual students and list their grades. We have Joe Raven as a student in the class. Or if you're in view, you can click Grader Report, and it may open up in this view where you have your students along the left side with anything that you've added to the class with point value, whether it's assignments, quizzes, discussion boards, anything with a point value should be running across the top here. And there's a scroll bar at the bottom that you can scroll. The names will stay constant, and you can scroll through everything that you've added to the class. Well, let's look back at setup real quick. On setup, Moodle is now preset, when I create classes, they're preset to what we call natural grades, in that it adds up all the points you have in the gradebook. Max grade 1 plus 10 equals 11, so there's 11 points possible. If Joe gets 10 out of 11, he gets his A, 90, 80, 70, 60, based off of just basically add up all the grades, divide by 90, 80, 70 to get the grades. That's considered natural, and that's what Moodle is usually preset to now. If you want something different, how to change that? You notice under Setup, Gradebook Setup, the Faculty Video Training course, the name of your course should be at the top here. All the way to the right, there's an Edit key. You can click Edit, Edit Settings. It'll chug and bring up Edit Settings. You notice aggregation right here. It's preset to natural. If I can toggle that, I can do mean of grades. If you're into weighted means of grades, simple weighted means of grades, any of those types of addition methods for your gradebook, you can choose. However, it is preset to natural. Something else while we're in here to get to. Right under there is Show More, and there is the button to exclude empty grades. Exclude empty grades. Why would I want to use that? If we go back, I don't know why that keeps popping up, but back to the gradebook setup, we look at Joe's, go back and look at Joe's grades. Joe, I think, has done the syllabus exam, and that's all we've required of him. He got an A on that, but it's telling Joe he has an F in the course. Obviously, he has 1 point out of 11 total in the course, and that is still an F. But Joe may not realize that. He may see, well, I've only had one assignment. I have an A on my 1 point, but why is it telling me I have an F? Again, he only has 1 point out of his 11 for total of for an F. To change how that looks to Joe, in case you want to take this out, you just want to give him what points he has so far so he knows he has an A. Again, back to Setup. Top, where your title is right here, over to the right, Edit, Edit Settings. Right under Aggregation, there's Show More, and there's a Exclude Empty Grades. If I click that, toggle that with a check mark, now it will come down and hit Save. It's going to exclude all empty grades. I go back to View, and I click Joe. I want to see Joe's score. Now you can see, and this is exactly what Joe's going to see on his. He's going to see that he has an A. Just be careful with that a little bit. We don't want Joe thinking he has an A at the end of the class. If he doesn't do anything else the rest of the course, Joe's not going to have an A. He will flunk at the end. And yes, I had one young lady a few years ago. She did a few assignments, and I had it set to this. She saw she had an A, and she quit doing everything. I asked her at the end of the class, well, why'd you stop doing everything? And she told me, well, in course total, it told me I had an A. I thought I had an A in the class. So just FYI, be careful of that. And then if they have any blank assignments, say we're already past assignment 1, and he didn't turn it in, Joe didn't turn it in, make sure you go back and put a 0 in there. 0 is not an empty, so the Moodle gradebook will look at anything empty, it won't figure. But if it has a 0 there, it will. So if you have blank scores, don't leave them blank. Go back and put zeros in to allow the student to know what their true grade is. So as far as how the gradebook looks there. Again, back under setup, under that edit over to the right from the name, the natural aggregation, whether you want to have empty, exclude those empty grades. You notice some of these are grayed out. That's based off of my aggregation method. If I go back up and pick simple weighted means of grades, you know these can become now ungrayed out. The system has been programmed to know that if it's in natural, it doesn't need to toggle any of these down here. So if you want some of those opened, you may need to change your aggregation method. You know, those types of things. Some other things in the gradebook. You know, obviously once a student takes in a quiz, multiple choice or true false, the system will grade that and post the score here. If you have an assignment that you grade out in the assignment grader, it will post the score here. If you need to manually input grades, when you're in View and Grader Report, you can turn on editing right here. It'll chug, and now you see all these boxes are open, and you can manually put grades in any boxes in the gradebook and then hit Save Changes. I know in our last version of Moodle we had a little Jolie grader right here. Moodle has decided to take that out, but to manually do grades, you can turn the editing on and off right here to manually put those grades in. How the gradebook looks, if I come under View over to User Report and I pick Joe, how you see the gradebook right here is exactly how Joe sees it. You can add and delete things from here depending on how you want the gradebook to look. For example, I don't like this contribution to course total. This tends to confuse students. They don't know quite what that is. I can take that out. Under Setup, click Setup. One of the tabs under Setup is Course Grade Settings. I can toggle some of these things. How the grade, like how do I want the grade to look to the student? Do I want it to post the real grade, the 9 or 1, you know, out of 10, whatever they got, and the letter grade? Or do I want to show the letter, then the real grade, and all these different ways of showing that? Let's just pick letter and real. And then down here under the user report, do you want to, it's currently showing, I'm hiding the rank from the student, I'm hiding the percentage, I'm showing the grade, I'm showing any feedback I give them, I'm hiding weights, I'm hide the show average, I'm hide the show letter grades. However, I'm showing contribution to total. I'm going to click that to hide and show range. We'll show the range for, and that is the range of 0 to 10 basically. So let's hit Save Changes now. And now if I come back into the user report, you notice what we had over here is dropped off. All I have is grade, the range 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 11, some feedback. So if I look at Joe's now, you notice it's flipped. It used to be 1 and an F. Now it's F and a 1 because we toggled that in the setup on how we were going to show him that as far as the gradebook. Some other things in the gradebook, the letters obviously you can mess and change these little. It's preset to 90, 80, 70, 60. I've had a few faculty ask me, well, I want to round up a little bit. Say a person has an 89 point something and I want to round that up to 90. Well, all you have to do is just edit the grade letters, and instead of saying 90, we want to override. We're going to override and we're going to put, you know, 89 points. So anything 89 points something, And if you want to put 89.1 or 89.0, 89s and above will equal an A. So it will actually round them up for you so you don't have to, and you can come down and then 79, 69, 59, those if you would like to do it that way. Or you can go straight 90, 80, 70, 60, just knowing that an 89.9, Moodle does look at that as a B if you have 90, 80, 70s on here for that. That's the letters you can import. You can export this out to a spreadsheet, which is what I do at the end of the semester to turn in. That's actually what I turn in for my grades into the registrar's office. Those types of things. Back to view. If you want to back to setup, say I don't like the order, it will put this order in the way that they were created on the front page. So if you did the syllabus quiz first and then maybe did all 10 assignments first and then set up all 10 quizzes, it'll list them in the order that you created them. You can change the order. If you come over here to the icon, if you want to move that and put it, click on the box and I move the assignment above the syllabus quiz, or if I don't like that, I want to move it back. I want the syllabus quiz on top. You can move the order, and that is also how the students will see them in their gradebook. And so if you want to kind of group things together after you've created everything, you have the ability to do that inside the setup mode by using the move icon. That is just some of the quick setups for the gradebook to give you a quick guide. Hope that helps. Thanks.